Kendry. Thank you very much, Energy Club, for inviting me. Here we have indeed very esteemed and highly represented participants, and I will not take too much time for me to speak, as I think most beneficial would be to hear representatives of embassies, consulates of many countries we have here online. And for example, Canada has lots of investments in renewables made in Ukraine, meaning Canadian businesses, among others. Other countries. So pretty sure this topic is a pain point for many foreign investors, including from Canada, from Bulgaria, from Czech, etc. So straight to the point, today I looked at the official website of the guaranteed buyer, and the most up-to-date information dates back to 23rd of October. And according to the official data indicated here, the debts of Ukrenergo against guaranteed buyer increased, and now it amounts to 24.1 billion hryvnias. So the increase constitutes about roughly 2 million hryvnia within a very short period of time. So the tendency is quite negative. And if we see at the payment, let's say payment discipline of the guaranteed buyer to the green producers, the green electricity producers, we can indeed testify that 100% we have for August, while for September, it only slightly more than 60%. And for October, for the 20 days of October, it just 7.6. And I should say that 100% payment for the August is explained by various situational reasons. One of the core reasons was that Ukrenergo made a payment to the guaranteed buyer out of the allocation in interconnection allocation capacity tariffs. So we should not really expect the mirror that 100% payment for each month will repeat month after month. In the short perspective, at least. Getting back to the situation overall, indeed, there is working group at the Ministry of Energy working on elaborating best ways to solve the situation and to make payments more, let's say, more frequent to the satisfaction of the green producers. Also, certain law drafting work is done, though I should say that we do not see any particular real steps that were made to make this problem solved in a quick and efficient manner. And undoubtedly, this is something that is of great concern to the foreign investors, to our clients. And as you could recall, the hot topic of international arbitration emerged maybe in the beginning of this year. That was, of course, this is something that foreign investors start thinking much before. But that was really on the agenda in the beginning of this year, where it was not clear if the memorandum will bring any fruitful benefits and outcomes. Then there was a light of hope that the law 110 followed by the signed memorandum will be really at least a major element of the solution of this problem. However, as we could see from the statistics I just outlined, the payments are still scarce, and this all is detrimental to economics of their electricity producers, to the projects. Of course, if we talk about large producers with large installed capacities, their situation could be slightly different. Their businesses in some way are more sustainable than smaller companies with small installed capacity. However, suffer, all suffer. And again, another practical side of the problem is that there is not even one project that is not financed through debt. So all producers have loans. The majority of them have unpaid loans to the bank, to the financial institutions. And of course, since they do not have a cash flow originating from their produced and output electricity, they encounter obvious problem of payment under their loans. And despite of numerous talks with banks for restructuring, I mean, the problem still exists, and it's really urgent one. Back to arbitration, few words. I will not really abuse my time and would be happy to share the floor with other participants. That just arbitration, investment arbitration and commercial arbitration are two ways available for foreign investors. And as you know, commercial arbitration just allows to claim breach of contract and ask basically for payment or for electricity produced and contractual fines, while on the investment arbitration, the foreign investor could claim much more, and the compensation, there are different basically things that a foreign investor could claim to compensate, including costly arbitration proceeding costs. So the protection guaranteed is under BAT, which Ukraine concluded with many countries. BAT stands for Bilateral Investment Treaty, and under ECT, which is Energy Charter Treaty. And while there are a few cases when renewable producer seek protection under BAT, the majority of cases are under ECT, as it is more energy specific instrument and it allows for broader clauses and protection there. So for this, I would like to pass the floor to Andrei, and if there will be any particular questions, either from attendees, we'll be happy to answer them. Thank you. Thank you, Andrei. I just felt that the question you raised is really important, and it goes far about Green Deal and implications that the current situation with green producers could have, and it goes far beyond just the Green Deal even, but further. As we all know, but sometimes it's almost forgotten, and unfortunately almost forgotten, but by policymakers, Ukraine undertook lots of international obligation that it needs to comply with in the sphere of energy in general and renewables in particular. So Green Deal is really a very interesting and hot topic, not only in EU, but also in Ukraine. And as you know, there are certain business opportunities that could emerge out of it for Ukrainian businesses. I will just mention one, which is being highly on the agenda these days, which is hydrogen production. And as you know, there is a very important document, which is Green Hydrogen Investment and Recovery Report, which is linked and connected to EU hydrogen strategy and to the roadmap of hydrogen development till 2050, which has been elaborated and presented by European Commission in July this year. So it provides for import of roughly 3 million tons of hydrogen from Northern Africa and Ukraine to EU. And also European Union plans to invest roughly 20 billion euro till 2030 for for these hydrogen production capacities through electrolysis. So we could, or at least we can now expect somehow that at least portion of these investments will really come to Ukraine. And so for now, the plans are that at least 3.5 billion euro capacity for electrolysis will be made, and around 13 billion euro for construction of wind power plants will be built, and roughly 3 million euro for construction of solar power plants will be built. So I'm talking about the renewables capacity, which will be used for electrolysis and ultimately for production of hydrogen. And in total, it is anticipated that around 10 gigawatts of renewable electricity capacities will be built aimed for production of hydrogen in Ukraine. And the subsidies could be around 1 billion euro annually. So the amounts are huge. The potential pipeline of investments is really huge and interesting, and should be interesting not only for the companies in Ukraine, private companies that already started doing some technical tests, including the gas transportation system of some DSOs in different regions of Ukraine, if they are actually fit technically to make this import happen. So that this should also be interesting for policymakers, for Ukrainian government, for wider establishment, I would say, representatives at high level that represent different ministries, not only Ministry of Energy. And I know that certain interest is there indeed, at least from public sources. We could see that recently there was business meetings of their Ms. Buslavets with representatives of companies also involved in hydrogen in Germany. And so it's very nice to know that there is understanding at a very high level the importance of development of cooperation and getting Ukraine involved into Green Deal, and to make these project opportunities and business opportunities happen. But I totally agree with the representative of the Canadian side that indeed it does not, and the Lithuania, that we are not living in a vacuum, right? Here is sector of renewables, and here are other business sectors. So investors that are coming here, they evaluate generally what's their regulatory policy, how they are treated, and they compare how they are treated when they plan to enter Ukrainian business environment, and how they are treated actually when they are there already and their investments made. So it is really important to make all possible efforts to adopt required legislation changes, to continue negotiations, and to find the best efficient way out. But it is unnegotiable that all debts against renewable producers must be paid in full. So this is something that we should all accept. And this is something that should be made really very quickly, in efficient manner, just as I said, because from the talks that I had with clients, potential clients, the patience is almost out. And should the situation will continue, they are really prepared to file notices on arbitration. And this is something that is not just because this is really serious, and our policymakers should treat it seriously. Because from some of them, I heard that they believe that they are just threats from foreign investors, and they are not really serious about it. So I can assure from my side, from my talks with the client, that they are really serious about it, and our policymakers better understand it. And again, within the working group at the Ministry of Energy, I know that practical solutions are being elaborated, have been elaborated, and basically it is understood what needs to be done. It's just the political will that must be applied finally and make this practical solution happen. So I truly believe that the question will be raised up in the agenda of all the policymakers, because the question is really important. So I will not reiterate how important it is to electricity producer from green energy, but it is really so. And it's very important that we, thanks to Energy Club, organize this event and to also highlight and emphasize its importance. And I also want to thank you, representatives of different embassies, for being here and your voice, because it is really important to be heard. So thank you.